Gay Pride Month. So congratulations. I wanted to wish you a happy Gay Pride Month. No
disrespect to them at all, but that had nothing to do with me. I don't know why you telling me congratulations.
Oh, rewind this? Let me rewind this. I'm trying to figure out what is this. Football is gay? Football is...
That's like something you would say.
Football is lesbian? Football is transgender?
You've actually said that before on the show.
What is this? Come on, NFL. Comey. I thought we were over with this. God damn. I thought this was over, homie. LGBTQ plus youth with at least one. What did it say? Go back. With at least one. Oh my God. This is their promo, homie. Oh.
Very old, by the way. This game heads up. This ain't something new. This is very old. So when you say it's over, this is old.
Well, you know what's not old? The Chargers, the Bills, and a bunch of other teams posting this on their websites. Okay, this was not old, by the way. This is 1 day old. So now what? And what's your answer to this now?
I'm just letting you know that was old. I'm not like
I'm telling you though, it's not old because it's still going.
Informing you that particular ad was old. That's all I'm saying.
That particular ad is why they do this though.
Argument, homie.
See, that's what macro does.
On the left is Coach Jason Brown, aka JB, and guess what? His co-host is right. It is indeed old, as in from the year 2021. But did that stop Brown?
The gender unicorn from Trans Student Educational Resource, TSER. Gender pronouns, TSER. The Coming Out Handbook. The Trevor Project. 2024 National Survey on the Mental Health of LGBTQ. Oh, fuck me.
You make like a bigger deal out of it than what it really is. Because like it's really having no impact on the game. But they're just trying to extend their market. They're trying to make it all inclusive to where the mom can watch. If you're gay, you can watch. If you're young, you can watch. It's all a money play. If you look at the grand scheme of everything, they're just trying to connect to everybody. It's all a money play.
JB would hear from his co-host and go full straw man.
It ain't nothing really changing. It's still football. It ain't.
Well, that's not. It has changed.
It's still majority straight players like it's always been. And that's it.
We don't know that, but it has changed.
We've never known that. Even when you play, we didn't know that.
Has the game gotten softer or not? Yes or no?
Excuse me?
Has the game gotten softer? Yes or no?
By rules, yes. By rules.
Okay. Are there a lot more women coaching football in the NFL now than ever before? Yes or no?
Ever before, yes.
Okay. So 2 for 2.
Is there a lot of women coaching? No. But ever before, yes.
It has changed, homie. It has changed the game.
It hasn't changed.
2 months ago, you had a very strong take on this show. An NFL player said he wanted to host an LGBTQ camp, and you were totally against it.
Yeah,
so
camp. Yeah.
Okay, camp. So what do you think? What do you think promotes that, homie?
I'll let you finish.
What do you think promotes that guy to do that? Because his corporation, the NFL, does this. What do you mean? What do you mean it doesn't? That's macro thinking, homie.
And just to be clear, this is the same coach JB when leading Independence Community College as head coach, allegedly told a German player on the squad, and I quote, "I am your big H." ESPN's Adam Rittenberg would break the story of Brown, of Last Chance U fame, referring to disciplinary points that Alexandros Alexiou had accrued for missteps. Brown allegedly wrote, "4:10 p.m. on field, you German F. You have 17 points toward your 25 points. You got an extra point for not hanging the lion poster as instructed. I'm your new big H. Figure out your life." He'd also make a threat to the player, potentially revoking his scholarship. In the aftermath, he would attack the media, specifically the Montgomery County Chronicle. They were the first to report on the story. USA Today's Chris Corman would write in his lengthy resignation letter posted to Twitter, he would take no responsibility for his actions and blame others for this predictable outcome, which, again, isn't surprising at all. Brown's compelling backstory, growing up in Compton, describing himself as a former gangbanger, did little to obscure the fact that he is a hypocritical loudmouth who demanded respect and accountability out of his players while rarely showing them either. To show how much he despises women participating in what he feels is his game in any capacity whatsoever.
So this broad Mina, who's a joke. Anyway, her and Stephen A got together, no hairline, and they've come to an agreement that Jimmy G is not good, but the Niners win with him. But you're trying to disprove the fact that he wins football games. I don't understand you. You are castrating Aaron Rodgers for losing one, and you're castrating Jimmy G for winning them. What the do you guys know about this game? Not a thing. What do you know about winning football games in the NFL as a quarterback? Not a thing. Shut up. You sound like a mockery. You're trying to disprove the fact that he wins football games. I don't understand you. You are castrating Aaron Rodgers for losing one, and you're castrating Jimmy G for winning them. What the do you guys know about this game? Not a thing. What do you know about winning football games in the NFL as a quarterback? Not a thing. Shut up. You sound like a mockery.
So is it any surprise he holds this mindset and has these takes? Of course not. What's also, I must say, quite sad is this. Kalen Saunders of the New Orleans Saints announced his intention to host an LGBTQ plus football camp. He told Good Morning Football, "It feels as though there's not really a space for the LGBTQ plus community in the very male-dominant and heterosexual-dominant sport. Being an ally is more than just saying, I support, but it's also showing up." His brother is a member of the LGBTQ plus community and a backup dancer for Taylor Swift. At the time, Brown said this.
Now, in the cancel culture vulture settings that we all have in this whole accepting and everyone's equal world we live in, I believe the world that's watching and the young kids is where the bigger problem is. And that's why I believe this is a huge issue. And this is literally the definition of grooming. Like, why are we having a youth LGBTQ camp?
That's a good point.
What the are we doing, homie? That's the problem I had. That's the only reason that it pisses me off.
I don't know.
Yeah, homie. Like, what are we doing here? Like, why is it always a weirdo attacking the youth when it comes to this? Like, that's the fundamental issue I have. Like, I never heard of a youth LGBTQ community, homie. Like, now we're adding more to this already weirdo community. Now we're having to add youth to it.
And yet he would continue over and over and over again. And I could show you hundreds of clips of his having horrendous takes. But let's be clear. Was that the best messaging from the NFL? Up to you. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. There is nothing wrong with casting a wide net. I agree with Smitty. I can't believe I'm saying this to a degree. His co-host, where he says it's about money. Does the NFL actually care? Probably not. I think they've shown from the top down how they feel about social issues, and every single year how they have dropped the ball. From race norming to kicking Colin Kaepernick out of the league to not providing what feels like a rather safe space for some players. Look at the reaction when Michael Sam embraced and kissed his boyfriend after getting drafted in the 6th round to the St. Louis Rams. There were so many fans and the like who hated seeing this. And let me just be very clear about something else. I had, long time ago, I had a back and forth with this particular individual, Coach JB, and what he did when I asked him about the quotes about the Big H, about going after players. It was childish, playground insults, and then he blocked me. It is what it is. He's done the same to a lot of people when it gets a little too heated for him. Let me also just say this in conclusion. The NFL has shown that, again, they really don't care about this stuff, but the best way to show that you kind of care is through some ads, I suppose, and also not that they're doing this, but the game overall of football, not having folks like this, not having the Coach JBs who are just going after people for being a member of the LGBTQ plus community. What did they ever do to you? The cynicism, the bigotry, it's gross. And then him also saying, we all have in this whole accepting that everyone is equal world that we live in. What? Is man not created equal? Well, open up that Pandora's box. I would love to hear more of that, but then again, maybe I probably wouldn't. And going after a player because they have a gay family member and you think that's wrong of him to try and launch an LGBTQ plus football camp? That's insane. That's insane. You never know the talent that you will find anywhere. And as a coach, he should know that. You leave no stone unturned. But to him, if he is going to not recruit, not look at tape, because someone is a member of that community, or they look a certain way, or they dress a certain way, or they post a certain way on social media, that actually goes to show you why he flopped. And that shows you why he had his cup of coffee on Netflix, and that was it.
Do you feel like Vivek's embarrassing for you like Netanyahu is for me?
Yeah, he was. Look, I debated Vivek.
Take shots, bro.
I will tell you, when you're an Indian American guy, a politician who's an immigrant, you probably don't want to insult people who've been born in America, white Americans. Like, it's just dumb what he did. Like, I don't understand what he was thinking.
Adam Friedland had Representative Ro Khanna on his show, and let me tell you, it was fantastic.
I want to mention this. You were co-chair of Bernie's campaign in 2020, right?
Yeah.
It seems like our former president, if you think about everything that's happened since he was president, it's been now the third presidential election since he's left office, that his influence on that primary was pretty much, it was that, and now he's making Netflix.
Well, I mean...
Right. Come on, bro.
Friedland was talking about Obama, by the way, not a lie detected. Then this happened.
I didn't agree. I didn't agree. I don't know what his role was, but certainly I didn't agree with people coordinating to drop out of the primary, but Buttigieg endorsed
So
again.
who was it?
I mean, I don't know if it was Pelosi or who. I don't know who. There were certainly powers that be in the Democratic primary, DNC.
You can't take the shot.
Well,
You're still with the boys.
with who? With Bernie?
You're still in the world. To
But
me,
you blame him. You don't
And
blame
that-
you don't blame like all the other things that happened. The DNC, and they basically cut deals. Biden's team with these other candidates to get them out of the race, and they all dropped. They all endorsed, and
how did that feel?
terrible. I mean, it felt like it was taken from us.
And there would be more.
You're surrounded by some of these people, are the dregs of humanity,
Yeah.
right? You know, in these marble halls. You see a guy walking down the hall, you're like, oh, that guy's been accused of like potentially sleeping with a minor. Like, how do you like function in like a world of scoundrels? You know what I mean? How do you like?
I mean, the nation is a nation.
No, come on. I mean, it's how do you like function in that world and not like you know, you're also a politician. You have to play a game, right?
Yeah.
You have to make deals. You have to co-sponsor legislation. You have to find Republican
So there
partners.
are two ways you can do about it. You can go about it being, okay, I'm not going to work with anyone who doesn't meet a certain moral threshold.
Yeah.
That hasn't been my approach. My approach has been, I want to go there and get stuff done for people and pass my bills. And so they were elected, and I will work to see how I can get them to support it. I mean, that's the reality is you don't get people who are pure who are coming into these positions.
Well, you got you.
Yeah, I'm not pure.
And even more.
You're in an interesting position right now. Because
That's one way of saying it. Yeah.
Because your district is Silicon Valley,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, and there's been a realignment in tech, like to the right. We saw the
move to the right. Yeah.
A move.
I mean, there's still 70% Democrats, but it used to be 95% Democrats. So people feel they're hearing the 25%.
The thing that drives me nuts about these people, and you're really not going to agree with me on this because you can't, and you shouldn't agree with me, but these are some of the biggest in American society. I mean, like,
How do you
they're people that understand they're capable of understanding the flaws and inefficiencies
Yeah.
and the ills of society.
Correct.
But they have the ego that says that only I, a genius philosopher king, am the one
You
that's...
love my speech. Make my speech go viral. Everyone needs to listen to my FDR speech. I call it the aristocracy of talent, this is what they believe.
Including commentary on Elon Musk.
This freaking Musk, is it just that he posts the lamest memes for Reddit guys, right? And basically pumped a stock price of a company that made 4 cars that explode constantly, and the new one is just...
I'm not gonna, obviously it's
he's your
tweets
best friend. You don't have to talk
Don't be a dick. So
He called you a...
yes.
You say what he is. Use my line.
Which is
Look at the... Just say it. Say he's a... No, okay.
he calls me a I call him a I don't know if that's fully symmetrical warfare.
You're a real human penis. This guy is a plastic. Okay.
Lastly, Kano would give this statement on why politically he continues to keep the faith.
Do you really think you can fix this? Legitimately. It seems
I'll tell you why.
so broken.
I'll tell you why I do. For 2 reasons. One, because Trump is going to break this thing so much.
He's going to f up so bad.
And it's going to be such a moment of crisis that something new can emerge. Honestly, if Harris had won, I think, obviously I worked really hard to see that happen, but to have big progressive change would have probably been harder because it would just kind of be more status quo. Here, Trump's really breaking everything down. And people are going to be desperate for something new.
And that reminded me of a discussion that I had on my podcast, The Rick Strom Show, which you all should go subscribe to immediately, with Professor Richard Wolff. What is the biggest reason you think someone should be hopeful for the future?
I see an empire in decline. And one of the features of a declining empire is that slowly but steadily, larger and larger portions of the population begin to understand that the empire is over. What kinds of jobs have we lost in the last 40 years? Overwhelmingly manufacturing jobs, well-paying, unionized jobs where a single individual, usually the father, could earn enough money to take care of his wife and children. That's not true anymore. The reality is that the standard of living of the mass of Americans is declining. The reality is that the gap between rich and poor is bigger now than it has been at any time in the last half century of this country's history. The so-called American dream is now out of reach to the majority of Americans. What kind of dream is that? And it's frustrating people. And in their frustration, they are vulnerable. They may decide it's black people. That's an old one here in America. Or they might decide it's immigrants. Or they might decide it's those bad Chinese people. But you know something? None of that works. It doesn't make any difference. And then they're going to, sooner or later, begin to ask the question, gee, maybe those aren't the problems. And then people like me come and talk to them, and they say in numbers that I find gratifying, gee, maybe you have a point. And my explanations to them will say things like the following. You're upset that the goods from China were made by Chinese workers, as indeed they were, over there in China, as they were, and they're coming here, and there are no jobs for you here in America because all that stuff, all the clothes we wear, the appliances we use, and so forth, are coming from China or other such countries. And I say, yes, but let me explain to you what you know, but you're not thinking clearly. How did the goods stop being produced in Chicago or Detroit or Pittsburgh and move to China? Did the Chinese do that? No. They didn't have the power to do that. Those were American companies hiring American workers to produce all that stuff here in America. Those corporations decided to shut down and move production to China, just like those corporate boards of directors decided to use computers or decided later to substitute robots for living people. And you know why they did all those things? To make more money, to make more profits, because that's what they're in business to do. You're not angry at the Chinese who got the job. You're angry at the corporate leader who made the decision to offer that job to the Chinese worker, and you know it. It's a cheap shot to be angry at the Chinese worker because he comes into the story at the end of the process. You know where it starts? You know where the decision is made? With the corporate leaders of America. And you're too frightened or scared or worried to put the finger of blame where it belongs. So you put it instead on the poorest immigrants from Central America who have barely got the shirt on their back. What are you doing? Their decisions didn't move your job. We have 330 million Americans. We have 10 to 11 undocumented immigrants. There is no way on God's green earth that 10 to 11 of the poorest people on this planet, those immigrants, could cause 330 million Americans, one of the richest countries in the world, to stumble as badly as it has. So kind of wake up, Jack. Your concern is with a system that makes it profitable and therefore rational, reasonable to move production out of the United States and into other parts of the world and not worry that the extra profits they make from doing that means a lifetime for you and your family that becomes more difficult each day.